So actually, instead of social life, I'm gonna talk about exercise, sleep, and nutrition.
Obviously, you can tell that neither of us have a social life.
Hey guys, this is James, and welcome to my channel. We're joined by the one and only Akshat.
Hello, thank you for hosting me on the James Fang interview show. I'm honored to be here. So I just finished my first year at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Like James, I am a dual degree student, and I am I guess technically non-local student from India. You can kind of tell by the color of my skin. But yeah, that's all about me.
Before we get into the questions, let me just give you some context. Right now, this is just after final season. And I finished like 3 days ago. Akshat finished just yesterday, right?
Right.
We just finished just yesterday, so we finally have some time to make this video. Otherwise, this guy, he wouldn't be here right now. He would be studying. I would also just be grinding away. So yeah. I guess the first question, it only makes sense to ask, how were your final exams and how did you feel about it, maybe compared to high school?
Alright, so this set of finals for me was kind of a lot worse than last semester's, particularly in the sense that we had a couple of subjects this semester that were a lot more advanced than, say, our first semester of uni, which made things a lot tougher, especially when you gotta do over 15 credits. That's when things start to get tough. So basically what I had to do was kind of sacrifice one or two of my courses so I could do well in my other ones, which is not something I'd recommend to anyone ever again, because once you get demoralized by one subject, you can kind of never recover.
Actually, before coming to UST, I'm sure most people have done a bunch of research online and learned about how this university is exceptionally stressful compared to the other universities in Hong Kong. Now that we've spent a whole year here at UST, what are some of the expectations versus the realities?
Okay, so I will answer this by talking about three things. Okay, number one, the course that you've chosen. Number two, grading. And number three, I guess, social life / miscellaneous. In terms of the course of study, what I think a lot of people will find being surprised by is what exactly they enjoy. When I came to uni, I thought for sure that I love computer science because I took it in high school. I thought that I was really good at it. It's been something I've been passionate about, but as I've come to uni, I've realized that I actually like business courses more, in some sense because they're easier, but also because I find that they're more applicable to real life. So I feel like before you're concrete on any study plan, you should be open to other options, and particularly in your first year, you should open yourself up to other courses and just experience what they're like, because you might like something you don't. Second, in terms of grading, so both James and I did the IB. It's graded out of 45, and both James and I were well into our 40s. Let's just say that. So yeah. I guess the impression that I got from that, and particularly in high school, was that I was better than everyone else. That's just how I felt, because other people simply weren't better than me. We just had better IB scores than everyone else. We were just better, yeah. But as I came to uni, I realized that I was not, in fact, better than anyone else. So I guess it's important to recognize that no matter how good you may be at high school, maybe you've gotten perfect grades, there are cases in which the content gets too tough. There are cases in which you fail. And it's important to recognize that and be prepared for that. Social life, I think James will answer this.
Well, okay, before we even get to social life, I want to just talk about your points on university being difficult, and I completely agree. Obviously, I put in a ton of effort in high school, but the effort was able to pay off. Right here, you put in effort, sometimes it pays off, but sometimes it doesn't. Partly, I think of the reason, compared to university, IB is not a curved grading scale. Right? They adjust the grade boundaries slightly depending on how well everyone does, but it's not nearly as drastic as compared to in university, where they only allow, let's say, a certain percentage of students getting A's and stuff. You have the 80-20 rule. You put in 20% effort, and that you get 80% of the results. Any more time you put in, obviously more time leads to better grades usually. But if you're not focused, you're kind of just wasting time, and you're only going to stress yourself out by not having a balanced social life, which Akshat will get to.
You're just passing it off to me. I will supplement the last point, and James will talk about social life. Okay? So, James talked about the 80-20 rule, and I think that my experience with it is the exact opposite of what he said. So, I think that everyone is able to put in 20% of the effort for their courses, right? It just comes down to what percentage of the 80 you're willing to put in. A lot of other people put in the full 80%, and you may put in like 70%. 70% isn't that bad. That 10% of effort is what makes the difference, which is kind of tough.
Alright, I guess we're done talking about academics right here. Study, but not to the point where you exhaust yourself. So you need to have a balanced life. So actually, instead of social life, I'm gonna talk about exercise, sleep, and nutrition.
Obviously, you can tell that neither of us have a social life, but to supplement the balanced life thing that James said, I guess you should learn not to be me, because during final season and stuff this semester, I thought that it'd be a good idea to study till like 3-4 a.m. just like memorizing everything, and now I've come to realize that that was an incredibly bad idea and that I should never have done that, because I do more in 10 minutes of my time from like 12 p.m. than I did from 1 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'd recommend not studying past 1 a.m. You think you might be studying, but the next morning you're not going to remember a single thing you've learned.
So that's all for academics. Now let's talk about some other aspects of university, such as social life.
We've skipped past this question like 20 times. I'm not answering this. It's your job, man.
So Akshat's the interviewer now. He asked me about my social life at university. Yeah, so I make friends sometimes. Right, so actually, when I talked about like going to gym and stuff, you'll be able to find different people that do different things with you. This way you not only interact with more people, but it makes your entire university life more lively, because you're able to find, different people. Maybe you can learn different things from these different people as well. And overall, I think social life, we know we were joking around with it, but it is actually a huge part of university, and it's very, very important.
You might think that social life is unnecessary in terms of your goals or whatever, but even in terms of academics and achievements, it's incredibly important, because I never would have won like a business competition had I not had a team of 5 people I knew who I could trust to win the thing. Succeeding individually is a lot harder than succeeding with other people.
I just want to clarify, by the way, for social life, we don't mean like going out or partying, those kind of social life. We mean making friends that you can work together with, like Akshat said, going on a business competition together in order to, work together towards the same goal. Like-minded individuals, I dare say. That kind of interaction is positive, and there's not many drawbacks, as opposed to if you were to, obviously you can go out and have fun and party and etc. That kind of social life, it will still bring you happiness, but it also has a downside that you cannot ignore. And I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory as well.
What is the downside?
It's self-explanatory.
Explain. I don't get it. You need to...
Okay, I need to explain it. I think... You know why I just skipped over that? It's because I don't know what the downside is.
This is advice I've heard from my seniors. I don't know much about this myself, but you can't just not party at all, because especially in fields like finance and stuff, you need to be able to hold your alcohol in order to have like meetings with other people and stuff. So if you're just totally incapable of like drinking even a bit of alcohol, you're kind of gonna suffer in like the networking aspect of a lot of university life, which is like a big drawback you can't ignore.
So that's interesting, because none of us have went out, so we're actually just speculating. So if you have any like other opinions about this topic that we're really not experts in, you can comment down below and let us know what is like the optimal amount of going out for partying and stuff. I'm sure after the finals it doesn't really matter that much, but during the school term, let us know what is like the right balance in terms of going out social life versus, just normal working with peers social life. Alright, my thing is on like 10% battery, so we better wrap this up. If there's one last thing that you want our viewers to take away from this video for like university in general or UST, what would you say to them?
It's not that deep, bro. Like, enjoy life.
All right. I guess Akshat said it all already.